This is the FPL Draft Zone, your fantasy team's best signing of the season.
Hello and welcome to the FPL Draft Zone, a podcast all about draft FPL. I'm Dom Crofts. I hope you are well. And yes, Game Week 13 is over. It is done. It is dusted. You will not see Game Week 13 for another 12 months. But guess what, folks? Game Week 14 is right around the corner. And just as that one ends, do you know what starts? Game Week 15. Game Week 14 kicks off this Tuesday in less than 48 hours' time. It ends on Thursday. Then you have Friday to sort your waivers and free agency. And then Game Week 15 comes at you thick and fast on Saturday. So we have got a lot to sort out. And that is why today, to give you the best chance of smashing your draft league, we are doing a double Game Week preview. Let's take a look at the fixtures in game weeks 14 and 15. And it all does kick off on Tuesday, the 2nd of December, with a trio of games. Bournemouth taking on Everton, both sides looking to bounce back from defeats. Fulham take on Manchester City, looking to make it 2 wins on the spin. And Newcastle entertain Spurs, who are having a right old time of it. They, of course, lost to Fulham in game week 13. On Wednesday, the 3rd of December, 2025, a host of fixtures for you, starting at the Emirates, where Arsenal take on Brentford. Brighton entertain Aston Villa at the Amex, and Burnley take on Crystal Palace at Turf Moor. Meanwhile, at Molineux, it's Wolves against Nottingham Forest in a bit of a relegation battle there, and Leeds take on Chelsea at Ellen Road at Anfield. Liverpool look to make it 2 wins on the spin with a game against Sunderland, and then game week 14 wraps up on Thursday with the 8 p.m. GMT game between Manchester United and West Ham. Then you have around 24 hours to sort your shiz out before game week 15 kicks off on the 6th of December, starting with the lunchtime game between Aston Villa and Arsenal as Unai Emery looks to dent his former club's title bid. Bournemouth take on Chelsea and Everton take on Nottingham Forest. Manchester City are at home to Sunderland. Newcastle entertain Burnley. It's Spurs against Brentford. All those games at 3 o'clock. The early evening kickoff is at Ellen Road between Leeds and Liverpool. It's Brighton against West Ham on Sunday. Fulham take on Crystal Palace in a London derby at 4:30, also on Sunday. And then wrapping up the game week again are Manchester United, this time away at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Let's take a little deep dive into those fixtures. Then first up with the teams who have 2 home games across both game weeks. And there are 5 teams lucky enough to be in that position. Bournemouth have home games against Everton and Chelsea. Fulham have home games against Manchester City and Crystal Palace. Newcastle's fixtures look very tempting indeed. Home games against Spurs and Burnley. And Brighton have home games against the Claret and Blue of Aston and Villa and West Ham. Meanwhile, Leeds have a slightly tougher test. They have got home games, but they are against Chelsea and Liverpool. Meanwhile, teams with double away games, 6 of these. Brentford go to Arsenal and Spurs. Crystal Palace visit Burnley and Fulham. Nottingham Forest travel to Wolves and Everton. Chelsea have trips to Leeds and Bournemouth. Sunderland go to Liverpool and Manchester City. And West Ham United have to go to Manchester United and Brighton. The teams with the best fixtures across both game weeks 14 and 15 then are Newcastle, Liverpool, Manchester City and Crystal Palace. In my humble opinion, Newcastle have those double home games against Spurs and Burnley. Liverpool, who of course bounced back with a win at West Ham in game week 13, have a home game against Sunderland and a trip to Leeds, 2 teams newly promoted, and they are still the champions, lest we forget. Manchester City go to Fulham and have a home game against Sunderland, and Burnley and Fulham await for Crystal Palace. 2 away games, and Palace, of course, lost to Manchester United in game week 13. But I do fancy them to bounce back in style over the next couple of game weeks. Let's start with those fixtures in game week 14 then. And the first games of that game week kick off on Tuesday, the 2nd of December. Bournemouth taking on Everton at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth have won the last 4 meetings in all competitions with Everton. 3 of those games were played last season, including 2 wins at Goodison Park for Bournemouth. Antoine Semenyo scoring in both games. The last meeting at the Vitality ended 1-0 to Bournemouth, with David Brooks getting the only goal of the game. In terms of assets for this one, Marcus Tavernier continues to start every single week for Andoni Iraiola's side. He is more robust than Justin Kluivert. He is playing regularly, and if Kluivert is not in that team, he will be on penalties. However, Justin Kluivert is back fit again. He played 19 minutes in that defeat against Sunderland. He has been plagued by injury this season, but he is a proven FPL asset. So if you can't get Tavernier, Kluivert may be an option because he will play plenty of minutes over these 2 game weeks. And of course, Bournemouth have got 2 home games to look forward to. Everton, of course, were spanked at home to Newcastle in game week 13, but Michael Keane continues to be a decent FPL asset. He is the top scorer at Everton in terms of FPL points. He's got 7 DEFCON returns for the season, 2 clean sheets in a row before that defeat to Newcastle. And that defeat to Newcastle means that a reaction is going to be needed for David Moyes' men. They have only got 1 clean sheet away from home this season, but of course, Michael Keane is a bit of a set-piece threat as well as a DEFCON monster. He's got 2 goals to his name so far this season. It's Fulham against Manchester City at Craven Cottage. City have won their last, get this, 18 matches against Fulham, dating back to February 2012. And Erling Haaland has got 6 goals in 6 games against the Cottagers. City's last 2 games at Craven Cottage finished 2-0 and 4-0. So City defenders might be worth thinking about as well. If you can get them, of course, they're going to prove tricky to get on the waivers right now. In terms of potential options for you in this one, Joachim Andersen has got 9 DEFCON returns for the season, picked up 15 defensive contributions in the win against Spurs at the weekend. And Fulham have actually been quietly brilliant at home. Only 1 defeat all season, and that was against Arsenal. 3 clean sheets at home so far from 6 games. So if he's not going to get you a clean sheet, which he might, 50% chance based on the season so far, he is almost certainly going to get you DEFCON points. So if he's free, well worth snapping up. As for Manchester City, their assets will be harder to come by, but Nico Gonzalez continues to impress in the absence of Rodri. He's hit double figures for DEFCON 7 times this season. He's got 3 returns across the season so far, and he picked up 12 defensive contributions in the win against Leeds and also racked up 0.20 XGI. It's Newcastle against Spurs at St James's Park, and Newcastle have won 6 of their last 7 meetings against Spurs, including the last 4 in a row. They've also won the last 4 meetings at home to Spurs by an aggregate score of 14 goals to 2. Nick Walter-Marder was amongst the scorers in a 2-0 Carabao Cup win over Spurs in October. So you'd have to fancy Newcastle for this one. Jacob Murphy did not play against Everton in game week 13, but I fancy him to come back into this one because I think he was rested against Everton, given the busy schedule. He has been playing a lot of football. Anthony Elanga, of course, got an assist against Everton, but I fancy Murphy to come in for this one. He's got 3 attacking returns this season, 3.53 XGI for the season, 2.63 XGI at St James's Park. So he's very much a favourable home player. Also, for Newcastle, Lewis Hall has now started the last 2 in a row, got an assist in that time as well, racked up 0.45 XGI against Everton. Dan Burn playing at centre-back alongside Thiaw against Everton. So it looks like Hall could be the left-back of choice for Eddie Howe going forward. He certainly should be. They certainly play better when him and Livramento are in the side. And Aaron Ramsdale got the nodding goal for Newcastle against Everton over Nick Pope. He could well be the first choice keeper going forward. He will be on several waivers, I'm sure. And I think he's going to start the next 2 games. And when you consider it's Spurs and Burnley at home, there's every chance he could pick up double clean sheet points. As for Spurs, well, they really are in disarray, but João Paulinho returned to the team against Fulham, having missed out in Europe against PSG. He remains their highest scoring player so far this season with 60 points, and he has hit DEFCON 6 times, including 5 in his last 6 appearances. It's Arsenal against Brentford at the Emirates. Arsenal have only won 50% of their home matches against Brentford since they were promoted to the Premier League. 2 wins and 2 draws. It finished 1 apiece last season with Thomas Partey and Johan Wissa both on target. Declan Rice and Kai Havertz scored in a 2-1 win the season before 2023 to 2024. Arsenal drew with Chelsea this weekend. Miles Lewis-Skelly came on for Ricardo Calafiori. He has had limited minutes this season, been playing more in the Champions League, but given Calafiori has been nursing this hip issue over the last few weeks, and the fact that he picked up a booking against Chelsea, which means he is now onto 4 yellow cards and 1 yellow card away from suspension. Lewis Skelly may well be worth picking up, not just for this game, which I think he'll start, but also for the next few weeks when you consider Calafiori is just that 1 yellow card away from missing a game. I think Arsenal's busy fixture schedule means that Lewis Skelly will see a fair few minutes over the next few weeks. I think Calafiori is going to be rested for the Aston Villa game in game week 15, and that should mean a start for Lewis Skelly in this one at home to Brentford. Christian Mosquera started against Chelsea in the absence of Gabriel and William Saliba, and because of that knock to Saliba and the load management of Hincapié, I think he's going to play a lot of minutes as well. So even if Saliba is back for this one, I do think Mosquera could easily retain his place in this one, given the travel that Hincapié had to do over the international break with Ecuador. As for Brentford, defensively, they continue to impress. Nathan Collins and Sepp van den Berg, the two standout options. There 13 defensive contribution returns between them so far this season. 7 for Nathan Collins, racked up 21 defensive contributions in game week 13. 4 of Van den Berg's 6 defensive contribution returns have been on the road, though, compared to Nathan Collins' 3. So Van den Berg seems to travel better than Nathan Collins from a defensive contribution perspective. It's Brighton taking on Aston Villa at the Amex. Brighton have only won 1 of their 6 home matches with Aston Villa in the Premier League. Donyell Marlon was among the scorers in a 3-0 win for Villa away from home last season. And Ollie Watkins, who has lost his place in Villa's starting 11 for the time being, has got 5 goals in 5 games against the Seagulls. As for Brighton options for you this game week, Jorginho Rutter has started the last 6 now. Brighton, another of those sides that have 2 home fixtures over these next 2 game weeks. 2.3 XGI for the season so far, racked up 0.48 XGI against Forest, has got an assist in that one as well. So he's starting to show signs of good form. Diego Gomez is a strong option for you as well. He's racked up even more XGI for the season, 2.7 from far fewer minutes. But Mitoma's return is imminent, and Rutter is guaranteed more starts than Diego Gomez based on history under Hertzler. Another option for you for Brighton, Mats Vifa, their midfielder. He's got 6 returns in a row now, 7 points, 4 points, 10 points, 3 points, 4 points, 4 points, 7 DEFCON returns for the season, and 1 11-point return, so just missing out by 1 defensive contribution. And he racked up 25 defensive contributions this game week, just gone against Nottingham Forest. He's also got 3 assists for the season, and he's only played more than 45 minutes 8 times in the first 13 game weeks, having started the last 6. So Vifa certainly seems one of those guaranteed DEFCON returners if you want to go there. He is a midfielder, though, playing at the back. Just bear that in mind. As for Aston Villa, Youri Tielemans got 10 attacking returns last season. He is now back to match fitness and starting. He is an integral part of Villa's midfield, and he racked up 0.47 XGI at the weekend against Wolverhampton Wanderers. He is, of course, across a lot of Villa's set pieces as well, which gives you a good opportunity for points returns. And Donyell Marlon seems to have usurped Ollie Watkins as Aston Villa's starting striker for the time being. 4 attacking returns in his last 3 matches. That's in all competitions. Racked up 0.52 XGI against Wolves. Did not return to those who brought him in at the weekend, but the signs are promising. And of course, fixture congestion for Villa, as they're another team with European commitments, and that means he will play plenty of minutes, and I'd expect him to retain his place in that one. Burnley taking on Crystal Palace at Turf Moor. Palace unbeaten in the last 4 games with the Clarets, 2 wins and 2 draws. They did the double over Burnley in the 2023-2024 season, winning 3-0 at Selhurst Park and 2-0 at Turf Moor, and they will be looking to bounce back from that home defeat to Manchester United. Burnley's Florentino remains their standout option. We say it every week. He's got 6 DEFCON returns in 9 starts, 15 defensive contributions last time out away at Brentford, and he got 11 DEFCON in game week 12 as well, missing out on that extra point or 2 by just 1 point. As for Palace, Ismail Assar is due to leave for AFCON soon, but he also limped off injured in Palace's defeat to Manchester United, and that should see either Daichi Kamada move forward or Eddie Nketiah come into the side. And Nketiah came off the bench against United, but of course they lost. And Kamada has played in that front 3 twice so far this season against Sunderland and West Ham, racking up 0.29 XGI and 0.47 XGI. Technically a very good player and could easily fill the shoes of Sarr if called upon, particularly in a game against a team like Burnley. It's Wolves against Nottingham Forest at Molineux. Forest are unbeaten in their last 6 matches with Wolves. 5 of them have ended in draws, though. This is a bit of a relegation 6-pointer. Forest won this game last season 3-0 with Morgan Gibbs-White and Chris Wood amongst the scorers. Gibbs-White playing his old club, of course, in this one. Wolves options for you. DEFCON options, really. Andre and João Gomez, 2 midfield options who are fairly familiar with defensive contribution returns. Andre has 4 in his last 7 matches and 5 overall. 3 of those returns have come in home games. And João Gomez has 4 DEFCON returns this season, 3 of which have come at Molineux. As for Forest, Amari Hutchinson continues to push for a place in the starting 11. So far, he's more of an impact substitute and racked up 0.99 XGI in the last 105 minutes of action. During that time, he's managed 3 assists, got 45 minutes against Brighton at the weekend, replaced Dan and Doy at half-time. And Forest will be rotating on the wings because they also have European commitments, and Hutchinson is not part of that Europa League squad. So I'd expect him to get at least 30 minutes against Wolves, and that could easily be enough to see him return if you're in a larger league. It's Leeds taking on Chelsea at Ellen Road. United have only won one of the last 11 meetings with Chelsea. Brendan Aronson was among the scorers in that one. It was a 3-0 win in August 2022. And that was also the last game played between these two sides at Elland Road. Chelsea did beat Leeds 3-2 back in February 2024 in an FA Cup tie, but none of the goal scorers from either teams are currently at their respective clubs. Leeds options for you. Lucas Nemecha continues to do the business up front for Leeds. 3 goals in the last 3 games now for him. He's got more points than any other Leeds player this season. And Esteval Villian got a start against Arsenal. He may not start this one, but he's shown that he can make an impact in minimum minutes. 4 attacking returns in 382 minutes so far this season. That's the minutes equivalent of 4.2 games. So basically a return every 90 minutes for Villian. Another option for you, Jamie Gittins. He is a squad rotation option for Chelsea. Nothing more than that, but they have Bournemouth away next in game week 15. He did get a 90-minute run out away at Burnley, and he got an assist in that game. And this seems like a similar matchup, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Gittins start this one, given Chelsea's fixtures coming up and Bournemouth being a far tougher test than Leeds United on paper, at least. At Anfield, it's Liverpool taking on Sunderland. Liverpool have only won 3 of their last 7 games against Sunderland at Anfield, drawing all the others. The last meeting took place way back in 2017 with Jermaine Defoe scoring twice in a 2-2 draw for the Black Cats. For Liverpool, Dominic Szoboszlai continues to be a threat from set pieces. He's also hit DEFCON 3 times, playing at right back. He's ranked 4th for DEFCON of all midfielders, and he's got 3 XGI for the season, 1 goal and 1 assist to his name. Nordi Mukiele is the standout option for Sunderland. He is their DEFCON monster, 6 DEFCON returns in 11 games. But don't rule out Brian Brobby as a possible pickup if you're in need of a striker. He's got 2 goals in his last 3 games. I've said it for the last few weeks now. I think it is only a matter of time now before he becomes Sunderland's starting centre forward. It's Manchester United against West Ham United. West Ham won this fixture 2-0 last season with Thomas Souček and Jarrod Bowen on target. The Hammers did the double over United last term. They also won at the London Stadium by 2-1. And they've actually won 3 of the last 4 meetings between these two sides. And Bowen has scored in every single one of those victories for the Hammers. Options for you for Manchester United. Mason Mount came off the bench against Everton. That defeat at Old Trafford last time out for United. Racked up 0.32 XGI, then earned the start against Palace and scored. He is a squad rotation risk, but given the absence of Ahmed and Mbumo soon because of AFCON and the injury to Benjamin Sesko, wouldn't surprise me if he started this. If he doesn't start this, he'll almost certainly start in game week 15 against Wolves. So good option for you there in the attacking third for Manchester United. As for West Ham, Callum Wilson continues to be their starting striker of choice. 3 goals in the last 3 games for him. United gave up 1.97 XG to Palace at the weekend, so West Ham will get chances in this one. So that is game week 14. But then, as this ends on Thursday night, we have to turn our attention pretty swiftly to game week 15, which starts on Saturday, the 6th of December. And it starts with a lunchtime game between Aston Villa and Arsenal. Villa have only lost 1 of their last 4 games against the Gunners, winning twice although the Gunners did win this fixture last season 2-0 with Leandro Trossard opening the scoring. You may remember that Ollie Watkins missed a couple of sitters in that one that could easily have turned the tide in Villa's favour. As for Villa, it's the same man we recommended for game week 14. Youri Tielemans, 3 goals and 2 assists he's got against Arsenal so far in his club career. He has had more attacking returns against the Gunners than any other English club he has ever played against. As for Arsenal, Gabriel Martinelli got the nod against Chelsea on the left-hand side for Arsenal in the absence of Leo Trossard, who was not even in the squad. So you would have to assume he's unlikely to feature in this one. Madueke came on for Martinelli, but Martinelli's form against Villa suggests he could well start this one. 3 goals in 7 games against Villa during the course of his Arsenal club career. It's Bournemouth taking on Chelsea at the Vitality. Chelsea are actually unbeaten in their last 7 matches with Bournemouth, winning 4 and drawing 3, and they've kept clean sheets on both of their last 2 visits to Bournemouth. As for Bournemouth options in this one, Tyler Adams has a good opportunity for DEFCON returns against a team like Chelsea. His returns have come against Liverpool, Spurs and Crystal Palace, and Chelsea fall into that sort of category and caliber of team, I suppose. He's also hit double figures but missed the threshold 5 times, scored against Sunderland, of course, has 2 goals and 1 assist to his name for the campaign so far. As for Chelsea, they'll be without Caicedo for this one, who will continue to serve his suspension, which should see a start for Andre Santos. And Santos, like Tyler Adams, should be in with a shout of defensive contribution returns here. Got 17 defensive contributions in his only full appearance of the season so far. That was away at Burnley, and he should start this game. It's Everton taking on Nottingham Forest, and Forest will be confident of a victory in this one because the home team has only won 1 of the last 8 matches between these sides. That was Everton back in April 2024. Away teams tend to do pretty well when Everton played Nottingham Forest, and Forest actually won this fixture at Goodison Park 2-0 last season with Morgan Gibbs-White and Chris Wood on target for the visitors. As for Everton options in this one, Tieno Barria started the last 4 games now as Everton's starting centre-forward. Hasn't scored, but has racked up 1.17 XGI in that time. He's got 1.7 XGI for the season, so most of his expected goal involvements have come in the last 4 games, and Everton really need to show some sort of reaction, having been beaten so comprehensively at home to Newcastle last time out. As for Forest, one to keep an eye on for this game week is Dan Ndoye. He has started the last 5 games, got 1 assist in that time, but he was taken off at half-time against Brighton. So have a look and see if he starts in game week 14. If he does, he may well start in this one and may well be worth a pickup given how ropey Everton were defensively in that game against Newcastle. At the Etihad, it's Manchester City taking on Sunderland. City have won 8 of their last 9 against the Black Cats, drawing the other. The last meeting took place way back in 2016, a 2-1 win for City with Sergio Aguero on target. Couple of options for you here. City may well rotate in this one. They go to Fulham in game week 14, which is a tough tie, and then they have a home game against a newly promoted side. And it wouldn't surprise me if Pep rolled the dice and made a few changes. And if he does, Omar Mamouche and Oscar Bob may well get starts. Mamouche got 8 attacking returns last season in the minutes equivalent of 13 matches. They have Crystal Palace away next as well, City. So if they are going to rotate, you would fancy them to rotate in a home game against Sunderland rather than away from home at Palace or away from home at Fulham. And similarly, Oscar Bob has got 5 starts for the season. They all came in the first 9 game weeks, 1 assist in that time, 1.6 XGI for the season. But if Pep is going to use his squad, you'd fancy him to do so in this one. And Sunderland is the same pick for game week 15 that we gave you for game week 14. Nordi Mukiele, 6 DEFCON returns in 11 games so far this season, and he will be a busy boy against Pep's side. It's Newcastle against Burnley at St James's Park. Newcastle have won 7 of the last 8 meetings with Burnley, drawing the other. And in the last 6 games played against Burnley at St James's Park, Newcastle have kept 5 clean sheets, which is why Newcastle defenders should be high on your wanted list ahead of game week 15. They have strong underlying defensive numbers still, although in the last 5 games, their expected goals conceded has hit 8.41, which is not so good. However, Burnley have terrible XG and terrible XGC, so they're unlikely to score and they are likely to concede. So Newcastle defenders should be a fairly safe bet, as should Harvey Barnes. Burnley have the worst defence in the league. And Harvey Barnes, given that he is a rotation risk, is probably the easiest route into their attack despite his recent good form. It's Spurs taking on Brentford in North London. Brentford have only beaten Spurs once since being promoted to the top flight. That was a 3-1 win back in May 2023. Spurs have actually won the last 3 games between these sides, and they beat Brentford 3-1 in this fixture last season with Solanke, Brennan Johnson, and James Maddison on target for the hosts. And yet, Brentford will be going into this one feeling pretty confident, you would think, given Spurs' woeful form. Kolo Muani has carved out a starting berth in this Spurs 11. He got his first 90-minute outing in that defeat to Fulham, racked up 0.41 XGI. He has got proven pedigree, played in the World Cup final, of course, missed a sitter, but he played in the final. And Brentford, well, Michael Coyote continues to threaten from an attacking perspective despite being one of Brentford's starting defenders, and Spurs, of course, are defensively questionable. So even if Coyote doesn't return in this one, he may well return in the next 2 when Brentford have home games against Leeds and an away game against Wolves. It's Leeds who are at home to Liverpool in game week 15. Liverpool actually unbeaten in their last 8 trips to Ellen Road, and they've scored 20 goals across that time. The last matchup between these two ended 6-1 to Liverpool, with Mo Salah scoring twice and Cody Gakpo also on target. That was back in April 2023. Leeds options for you. Brendan Aronson, 4 attacking returns this season. 3 of those returns have been at home. He has played the most minutes of all Leeds attackers. He was dropped for the game against City, but I fancy him to return to the starting 11 for this one. As for Liverpool, Alexis McAllister starting to wake up after overcoming injury, becoming more of an attacking threat as his fitness improves. Game week 9 racked up 0.23 XGI, and that was just in 28 minutes worth of action. Game week 10, 0.21 XGI. Game week 11 dropped down to 0.02 XGI, but in game week 12, right up to 0.75 XGI. The game week just gone managed just 0.05 XGI, but against Leeds, I fancy him to get chances. Brighton take on West Ham at the Amex in the second of their home fixtures. They've only lost 1 of the last 16 meetings between these sides, winning 7 of them. Last season's game ended 3-2 to the Seagulls, with Karo Matoma on target for Brighton. Brighton option for you, Ferdi Kadioglu is first choice after that long-term injury he suffered in his first season with the club. Continues to be an attacking threat, got an attacking return every 5 games during his time in Turkey. That was from 148 appearances. And Brighton have shown a bit of defensive resolve of late, so it wouldn't surprise me if they kept a clean sheet in this one. Lucas Paquetá will be suspended for game week 14, but he will be back for game week 15, and he continues to have the highest XGI of all West Ham players at 3.12. He'll also be their chief penalty taker if he plays in this one, and he has got 2 attacking returns in his last 3 matches, as well as a red card. Brighton gave up 1.91 XGC in their last home game against Brighton, so West Ham should get chances in this one, but if they don't, Kadioglu is your pick of choice. It's Fulham taking on Crystal Palace at Craven Cottage. Fulham have only won 1 of their last 8 home matches against the Eagles, and they've lost the last 2 without scoring a goal. Last season's game ended in a 2-0 win for Crystal Palace, who also knocked Fulham out of the FA Cup, winning that one by 3-0. Our pick for you from Fulham is Ryan Sessegnon, a midfielder operating at the back for the Cottagers. He's hit double figures for DEFCON 6 times now, 2 of which he managed to get returns in. He's got 1.6 XGI for the season as well, 4 attacking returns, so vastly overperforming those underlying statistics. 3 of his 4 attacking returns have also been at Craven Cottage, so that bodes well for this one. As for Palace, Adam Wharton has hit double figures in DEFCON 3 times, 2 of which were enough to reach the threshold. Those 2 have come in his last 2 matches, and of the 3 times he has hit double figures, 2 have come in his last 3 away games. So every chance he'll hit DEFCON again in this one. And then wrapping up game week 15 is Wolves against Manchester United at Molineux. Wolves actually did the double over United last season, winning 2-0 at Molineux and 1-0 at Old Trafford. But prior to that, United had won 7 of the previous 8, including 4 in a row away from home. Your options for you in this one, Tolu was not in the starting 11 against Aston Villa in game week 13, but a home game is very different to a trip to Villa Park for a Midlands derby, and I would expect him to start in this one, given how vulnerable Manchester United will look defensively and the fact that he offers physicality in both boxes, and Wolves really need help in both boxes. Wolves actually rank 17th for expected goals conceded. So if Tolu can help out his backline, then it would be greatly appreciated. As for Manchester United, Joshua Zirkzee was on target against Crystal Palace in game week 13. We've already mentioned Ahmad and Mbumo will be going off to AFCON sooner rather than later. And that leaves very limited options in the attacking third for United, particularly with that injury to Benjamin Sesko, which means Zirkzee and Mount should see a lot of minutes. And we've already said it, but Wolves rank 17th for expected goals conceded. So there's every chance Zirkzee will get 1 or 2 chances in this one. So a reminder of your game week 14 and game week 15 top teams to target. And they are Newcastle, who have 2 home games against Spurs and Burnley. Liverpool, who have a home game against Sunderland and then go to another newly promoted team in Leeds United. Manchester City, who have a trip to Fulham before a home game against Sunderland. And Crystal Palace, who have 2 trips. But they're quite good, aren't they, Crystal Palace? And one of those trips is to Burnley. And they have an excellent record at Craven Cottage historically. And they take on Fulham as well. Your game week 14-15 top picks based on those best fixtures then for Newcastle. If you can get your hands on any of these players, snap them up. Buttercup, Tino Livramento, Dan Burn and Malik Thiaw should all start for Newcastle United. Aaron Ramsdale is another option for you if you're in need of a goalkeeper. Jacob Murphy, Bruno Guimaraes and Harvey Barnes should all see plenty of minutes and get plenty of opportunities for returns as well. From Liverpool, Joe Gomez could be an option for you at the back now. He played well and returned in Liverpool's winning game week 30. And Alexis McAllister and Dominic Szoboszlai are good options further up the field. For Crystal Palace, Jeremy Pino continues to be on our list of recommendations from the Eagles, but Daichi Kamada has joined him, as has Adam Wharton, although he's not listed on the screen if you're looking on YouTube. And Manchester City, a few options for you. We mentioned Oscar Bob, we mentioned Omar Mamouche, but Tijani Reinders also returned for City at the weekend and did rack up a decent underlying XGI amount. So he could well be involved over the course of these 2 games as well. Other top picks for you. Miles Lewis Skelly for Arsenal. Given Calafiori is nursing this hip injury, given that he is on 4 yellow cards, there's every chance Lewis Skelly will start against Brentford on Wednesday, and that is a good fixture for Arsenal, and it's a route into the best defence in the country if you can get your hands on him. Jorginho Rutter for Brighton, they have 2 fairly decent home games. He seems guaranteed minutes, certainly over someone like Gomez or Mitoma, and he is due an attacking return, got an assist in game week 13, but there could be more to come. And we said it for the last few weeks now, but Brian Brobby seems like a decent option up front if you're in need of a third striker. 2 goals in his last 3 games now. Difficult fixtures coming up, but Liverpool continue to be vulnerable. And would you be surprised if Sunderland scored at Anfield? And would you be surprised if it was Brian Brobby? I certainly wouldn't. So your game week 14 and game week 15 to-do list. And there's a lot to get your head around. Pre-waiver deadline press conferences ×2. Make sure you are aware of any injury news before those Tuesday and Wednesday games in game week 14. And of course, the matches next weekend. Post-waiver deadline press conferences as well will influence your free agency picks. And then we get on to the standard stuff. Follow us on our socials. We are on X, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Please get in touch. Join us. We love to chat. Give us a 5-star review if you listen to us in audio form. Whatever podcast platform you listen to us on, a 5-star review would be fantastic payment for us doing this show. And maybe a few kind words as well, if you would be so kind. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It is going to be a busy one. We have got 2 game weeks to get through, and there is not much time to prep for them. So stop watching this right now, load up that FPL website and start prepping your waivers, because these are the sort of game weeks that can make or break your season. Good luck. Stay in touch. I hope all is well with you and your fantasy football team. And until next time, it is bye for now.